The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Goodyear, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32033. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new vehicle. Let's start down at the front bumper, but you will notice a little bit of snow is built up on the front of your fire engine, so we'll go through a couple of these items here quickly. First, starting at the very bottom, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find 2 air horns, passenger side and driver side. Located in the very center, you'll find your PA speaker system and electronic siren. Moving up onto the top of the bumper extension on the driver's side, you're going to find a mechanical siren. Covered underneath this snow is where you'll find your tubbed storage location for your front bumper load. Moving to the outer edge of the vehicle, you'll find a turn marker indicator. As we move just inside of that, you'll find the headlight structure housing the low and high beam headlights. High beam is on the inside and low beam on the outside. Moving up from that location, you'll find a cluster housing the emergency warning lights, forward-facing lower zone, and also a turn indicator. Moving up onto the seamless one-piece windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers. And then all the way up to the very brow of the vehicle, you'll find your warning lights and also forward-facing floodlight. Let's take a look now at a couple of those things close up. First, let's start down here at the bottom corner with the headlight structure and also a turn and emergency light. Moving just on the outside, you're going to find your door latches do have keyed access for open and closing and locking the door, and also at all points of entry for personnel, you'll find grab handles. Let's move now to the mirror. You'll find a 2-piece mirror. The lower section is convex and the upper section is flat. And then as we move just up onto the section just above the front tire is where you'll find a side-facing scene light. On the side of the vehicle, you have a shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug, and you'll also find that indicator indicating that your batteries are active. Just down in the lower corner, you'll find an air inlet. This is the step well. As we move to the pump area, let's start at the very top with a couple of warning labels here. First, entanglement hazard because of those hoses, and also a fall hazard that you shouldn't ride on or climb on the side of the apparatus. Down in the next section down, you'll find a warning regarding not mixing different brands and consistencies or types of foam, and then also a warning regarding pressurized hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when removing them. As we move down to the left, you'll find 2 discharges. These are both 2.5-inch discharges, the number 1 and number 3. Moving to the center, American flag Eagle Pierce logo, large diameter pump intake. Moving over to the right again, this is your foam lever for draft, foam, and fill. Down at the very bottom is going to be your foam fill location. At the very bottom of the image will have all of your associated color-coded drains. Down on the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. It is a female inlet. Here's some close-ups now of the number 1 and number 3 driver's side discharge. This is the draft foam fill tank lever, and at the very bottom is the foam fill location. Driver's side auxiliary inlet, once again, 2.5-inch female inlet. And these are your color-coded and labeled drains. Let's move up from this location. First, at the very top, you'll find on the left backboard storage in this compartment. To the right, you're going to find the 2.5-inch crosslay, water foam capable. As we move down, you'll find this small latch. This latch allows you to remove the speed lay and then allows it to move to the ground area. As we move down to the lower section, you'll find 2 discharges here, the number 1 and number 2 crosslay. Same thing, in the center you'll find that latch which allows you to remove your speedlay load. Let's now move up to the very top. This is your pump panel area. We'll first start at the very top with what this light is indicating. If the light is illuminating, it's indicated that your pump is properly engaged and has been engaged from the cab. As we move to the left, you'll find the Pierce minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll go over that in just a moment. Moving to the right, you'll find your foam tank A location for the amount of foam in your tank. Into the gray area here, you'll find some gauges. This is the master intake gauge on the left, and then on the right, your master discharge gauge. In between the two of those, you're going to find the vacuum and pressure test gauge ports located at the very bottom. Those do have plugs currently in place. Upper right-hand corner, you're going to find your PCM fault. You can see it's illuminated at this point. Just beneath that, you'll find an audible speaker that does have the ability to dampen the sound by turning the outer edge of the bezel. Let's move back over to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for your job number located at the top. On the left is the GPM. In the center, you'll find 150, 200, and 250. Those are the test pressures. And on the right, you'll find the associated GPM with a governed speed of 1970. Let's move down to the next section. You're going to find all of your discharges color-coded and labeled in this area. All of these are foam and water capable. To the right, you'll find your fire pump primer. It is a push-to-prime, air-operated. There are some priming instructions just beneath that you should have at least 1,000 RPMs prior to engaging that primer for best practices. Moving to the right, you're going to find the passenger rear discharge. That's a foam water-capable discharge. And to the right, you'll find your Pierce pressure throttle governor. In the upper left-hand corner, if illuminated, it would be yellow. It is a check engine light. And to the right, if illuminated, would be red. That is the stop engine. In between, you'll find a digital readout for the RPMs. Beneath that, you'll find all of your engine diagnostic information. Below in the blue section of the module, you'll find your water tank level indicator. It's a digital readout. And then to the right, you're going to find a red silence button. That allows you to silence any alarms that are present. And as we move further down, you'll find the orange menu button, which will allow you to scroll through the various functions of your Pierce pressure throttle governor. You have two options here, either pressure control or RPM or throttle control. Those are the two on the right and left, located in the center, a digital readout. Moving just down from that, you'll find the blue control module. That allows you to select those two different modules. And then you'll have a green indicator, throttle ready. And then if you choose, you can use the green preset button to program presets for different pump pressures or throttle. Down at the very bottom section, you're going to find your throttle. To increase, turn to the right, decrease, turn to the left, and to move to idle, you can just push simply in the red area. Let's move to the upper left-hand side with this warning label that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after they've read and received proper training. As we move down, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line. Just to the right of that, the tank to pump. And then all the way to the right, this is going to be your deluge. This is the one that's located on the very top in the dunnage area. Moving to the right, you have two electronic valves. First, the number 2 passenger side and the large diameter passenger side discharge. These are the electronic valves that control those. To the right, you'll find your Husky foam system. You have a Husky 3 foam system. Beneath that, you'll find all of your operating instructions and also a schematic. Let's take a look at the foam system real quick. In the red mod, you're going to find first a system on-off button, which is green. You also have some operating instructions on the right-hand side. Increase and decrease are the two gray buttons, and you do have a foam percentage digital readout. The kind of yellow button here is going to be a prime button, and then to the right, you'll find the information regarding the system status, which coincides with the operating instructions just above. Just down from this location, we're going to find a pan door that opens. You can see it on the far right-hand side next to the primer drain. Let's take a look inside. This is going to be your foam fill operations. First, the yellow handle. You can see the position on the door itself for indicating its position. The red covered or protected switch is your manual pump override shift, and when it's activated, the orange light on the right will turn on. Once again, those are the instructions for foam fill operations on the left. Far left-hand side, you're going to find the rear scene lights. You do have some future switch locations. As we move to the upper corner of this compartment, you're going to find when plugged into shoreline power, your 12-volt charger will activate. You also have a AC amps on the left-hand side. We got a closer image of that. This is the AC volts correction. And this is going to be for your generator. As we move down in that same compartment is where you'll find the G1, which stands for generator. This is the breaker box associated with that. You can see attached to it you have two mains and also two cord rails, passenger side and also driver side. As we move now to the side of the vehicle, you're going to find SCBA bottle storage location. This is a single bottle. As we move down, you'll find the blue, which is a 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. As we move just to the rear of the rear axle, you'll find the silver ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. That's the fill location. As we move just over the rear tires, where you'll find your pegboard for your tool board. The D handle is the release to allow it to open. On the right-hand side or hinged side is where you'll find also the locking mechanism to restore. As we move to the very rear section of the compartment, just underneath, you'll find two folding wheel chocks. Up in the compartment itself, you're going to find a roll-out tray, and then at the very top, an adjustable shelf. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus now. Let's first start with the brake turn and also reverse lights. You also have a variety of other emergency lights, but I would like to point out there are 2 grab rails located in the very center, and then you also have the grab rails associated with the ladder. In the very top, you're going to find your upper lights. These are going to be your upper warning or scene lights, and then down at the very bottom, lower warning and also scene lights. As we move to the very center at the top is where you're going to find your traffic advisor across the very top section. Just beneath that, you'll find the backup camera, and below that, you'll find your perimeter lighting. As we move just to the right, you'll find that discharge that we talked about earlier, 2.5-inch rear discharge. And then moving all the way to the right-hand side, this is going to be your access point to go aloft. There are some pinch points on the ladder. Please read the stationary caution labels and warning labels. You do have a hose bed light switch located on the lower left. In the upper section, you'll find a 6-foot and 8-foot pike pole and also your 10-foot folding ladder. Located in the compartment on the left-hand side of the apparatus, 24-foot extension and a 14-foot roof. Let's keep moving across the back here. We'll talk a few more of the items. First, down in the lower compartment, roll-up compartment door, you're going to find ventilation and also LED lighting in this compartment. As we move just up from that, once again, I would want to point out that warning regarding pressurized hazards. All the caps do have the ability for pressure relieving, but just be cautious. That's why the warning label is there. Additional long tool storage location in the very back between the ladder. As we go aloft to the top of the vehicle, we'll identify some of the items here. You can see a tremendous amount of snow buildup here. Left and right, you do have some hatch compartments. They have dry deck material and also LED lighting. As we move to the forward section passenger side is where you'll find your 200-foot electrical cord reel, which is attached to that generator. Let's move down to the dunnage area where you'll find the tank fill locations for foam operations. This is your foam A tank. There is a warning label here also. Do not mix different brands, consistencies, or types of foam. And to the right, you'll find your water fill location. This is for your water tank. Let's go ahead and move further up in the dunnage area where you'll find a fill location for your warm water rinse. As we move back toward the rear of the apparatus, we're going to find the generator. This is your hydraulic generator. And then moving up to the upper right-hand corner is where your Husky 3 foam system is. This is the foam pump. And there is a fill location just under the snow. I have a better image of that in the next set of images. You're also going to find your deluge discharge. This is the fill location. There are instructions on filling that in your owner's manual. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger side of the vehicle, rear compartment. There is a pull-out shelf here. That's the release mechanism located on the right, LED lighting, adjustable shelving. Also moving to the rear compartment, you'll find 3 SCBA with also retaining straps for those SCBAs. Over the rear wheels, you're going to find 2 pull-out, drop-down, or tilt shelving. The release mechanism is simply pull the cable. This is where you're going to house all of your SCBAs. You can see they are tilted down for access and ease of use. Let's go ahead and look to the next compartment, SCBA bottle storage location. And then as we move forward to this location, we do have in the next compartment forward, these are tool boards. The D handle allows you to pull that tool board to the outward position. And then this is also location of that 200-foot electrical cord reel. That 200-foot electrical cord reel does have a cord rewind. It's located on the right-hand side. It's the rubber button. It is a 20-amp cord reel. Let's move just to the forward section to the pump area. We're going to identify a few items in this area. This is your cab lift. There is a danger and warning label in this area. And then also the activate and also raise and lower switch. To the right, you're going to find that warning label regarding entanglement because of the hoses. And then also a warning regarding fall. And you should not ride on the rear or side of your apparatus. As we move to the left, you're going to find the warm water rinse. These are the instructions. And then the switch is just down to the lower section. To the center is where you're going to find the Pierce American Flag Eagle logo. That is your large diameter pump intake. To the right, we've got a warning label here regarding pressure hazard once again. And then we have that electronic valve which controls this 2.5-inch discharge, and there is an override for it. Just beneath that, you're going to find the large diameter pump discharge on the passenger side, and there's going to be an override for it also due to it being an electronic valve. Down the lower left corner, you're going to find the fill and outlet for your warm water rinse. This is the control valve for it. Down at the very bottom, you're going to find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. Let's take a couple close-ups of those images that we just talked about just so we can refresh. This is going to be the cab raise and lower. Instructions are in the upper right. You do have a protected switch for the raise and lower. These are going to be your warm water rinse instructions and also switches. This is your rinse inlet and outlet, and then the control valve, discharge drains. And then as we move all the way to the very far right hand side, these are the two electronically controlled valve, 2.5-inch in large diameter pump discharge. Let's move inside the cab, rear section, passenger side. On all points of entry, you're going to find these warning labels. You'll also have in the hinged area a red grab handle to assist for getting in and out of the cab. Located in the very center behind this pan door is what we'll talk about next. This is going to be the daily checks for oil and transmission. There also is a light just inside this compartment. Let's go ahead and move just inside the cab to get a visual. We do have red seat belts for ease of visibility. You can see there are 2 forward-facing seats and also 2 rear-facing seats. Overhead is your air conditioning unit, push on and off white and red lights. Just a general view looking from the rear section to the forward section. The 2 large tubes there are for your air conditioning drains. Moving to the right-hand side is where you're going to find, once again, a point of entry. So we've got these warning labels. And also you're going to find the fill location for your windshield wiper. And down at the very bottom, a foot pedal for your air horn. Let's take a couple close-ups of those items that we just talked about. First, let's take a look at the fill location for your windshield wipers. And then down in the lower left-hand corner about the foot location, this is going to be your mechanical siren. I think I said air horn earlier. My correction here is the mechanical siren. As we move up to the dash itself, you're going to find USB and 12-volt access on the front section. At the very side, you're going to find air horn, electronic siren, and barrel style 12-volt access. Overhead, you're going to find that push on and off white and red light. As we move now to the driver's area, identify a few things. Point of entry, so we've got those warning labels here. You also have electric windows located in the upper right-hand corner. Moving to the right on the seat itself, this is a warning label regarding the use of seat belts. And let's go all the way down to about the right ankle of the operator. A few more warning labels, but what I'd also like to point out is this yellow placard. This placard houses all the information regarding your apparatus. It has the date of manufacture, the job number, which is that 5-digit number we talked about. It also has your gross vehicle weight ratings, cold tire inflation, your VIN number, fluid capacities for the components, fluid capacity, and fluid type. Let's move back to the door itself. These are those electronic window controls, and then just beneath that, the latch to open the door. Down at the floorboard is where you're going to find a mechanical siren foot pedal. Next to it, the brake treadle, and then the accelerator. As we move about left knee of the operator, master battery switches in silver. To the right, you're going to find your engine, transmission, and ABS diagnostic port for J1939. Just beneath that, you're going to find 2 switches on the left-hand side, ABS diagnostics and DPF regen. To the right in the red is an indicator, engine diagnostics, and then to the right, you'll find a green, which is your regen inhibit. Moving up just above that is where you're going to find the flood, driver's side and passenger side, and rear scene lights. And then as we move just to the opposite side of the column, you're going to find your stationary OK to pump and roll, your water pump to engage, and also your foam system, which will engage. Moving to the upper right-hand corner, you're going to find flat mirror and also convex mirror control. Let's move to the dash now. Left-hand side of the dash is where we'll start with the ignition switch. Once the ignition switch has been activated and does its system checks, go ahead and engage the start switch, which is just above that. Moving to the right-hand side, you're going to find a small switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will control all of your emergency lights at your fingertips. To the right, you're going to find parking and also headlights. And then further to the right in that same switch area, you're going to find a panel switch, which allows you to brighten or dim the panel lights in the dash area. On the steering column, just above, you're going to find your transmission oil, DEF, and water temperature. To the right, you're going to find the tachometer and speedometer located in the center. And then to the right, you're going to find volts, fuel, front and rear air, informational diagnostic information above and below the 2 large speedometer and tachometer. Let's move to the right now where we'll find your backup camera. This is the monitoring system for that. Just beneath that, you'll find your siren and PA control system. We have several sets of switches. We'll go over those with a close-up here in just a moment. And in yellow, this is going to be your system parking brake. Moving to the right, you're going to find your Allison transmission pad. And then moving further to the right at the very top section is where you're going to find your climate control. You have heat, defrost, and also an AC unit. There are some informational caution information labels below that. Let's go over some of the switches here. First, engine brake. This is an on-off switch. You have a settings for that engine brake for low, medium, and high. You have an indicator regarding your pump has properly been engaged. generator PTO switch, mirror heat, and also a load manager. And in the upper right, a push to apply your windshield wiper fluid, and then a rotational for applying low, medium, and high wiper speed. Let's move now to the system parking brake. Pull to apply the system parking brake and push to release. To the right, Allison transmission pad. In the section, the upper portion is where you'll find the digital readout regarding what gear you're in. Climate control, we do have once again those warning labels regarding the use of your retarder, and then also maximum speeds. As we move to the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find this placard regarding the height 10 feet 4 inches, length 32 feet 0.5 inches, and also 24.9 tons. If you make any adjustments to your vehicle, please update and revise this placard. Let's move to the right, where you're going to find your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning lights. When engaging any of these switches, you'll find the green indicator will illuminate, indicating that the switch is active. Let's move to the right to the next set of switches, where you're going to find a high beam flash, your electric or air horn switch, and the red is going to be a siren brake, and some future switches if necessary. Moving further to the right, you've got a digital readout because you have pump and roll options here. This is your pump pressure, which is digitally read out. And then also you have a water tank and also a foam tank vision indicators. Let's move to the very center of the apparatus. Located in the center, you're going to find a red flashing light that indicates do not move your apparatus if this light is flashing, indicating you have a compartment or door open. Just in front of that, you'll find your traffic advisor control module. And at the very top, you're going to find your seatbelt information, red indicating that someone is occupying the seat, but they are not belted, green indicating that they are occupying the seat and they are belted. Let's go ahead and move to the traffic advisor. We have a left, right, split, and flash, and also a low, off, or high settings. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, just a general view of the rear section of your apparatus. Once again, 2 forward-facing seats and then 2 rear-facing seats. Congratulations, Goodyear, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32033. Remember, please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your vehicle. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.